One loose wheel might now cost 2311 Racing 2 crew members for the next 2 races, despite Bubba Wallace's near victory at San Diego. And that is the most agonizing aspect of the entire narrative. Even though Bubba drove one of the best road course races of his Cup career and contributed to 2,311 Racing's spectacular 1-2 finish with Corey Heim winning, the number 23 team knew this might have been even bigger, so he departed Naval Base Coronado disappointed. Second place was the outcome. Although the recovery was amazing, the mid-race incident is now the issue because Bubba Wallace lost his right front wheel on the track, received a 2-lap penalty, and according to NASCAR's rulebook and recent precedents, suspensions are probably coming from members of the 2,311 pit curve. We are therefore dissecting every aspect of the suspension call today. How Bubba Wallace managed to bounce back and place second at Naval Base Coronado. Why he still felt that second place was insufficient. What is stated in NASCAR's rulebook regarding a wheel coming off after the pit. And why, in Denny Hamlin's opinion, this race demonstrated Bubba and the number 23 team's progress on road courses. One of the most exciting races of the season was already taking place on the San Diego street course. At Naval Base Coronado, NASCAR held its inaugural Cup race. There was a makeshift street course inside a military installation, and the entire day had a survival vibe about it. Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen perished in a massive restart accident. The entire front of the race was altered by Austin Hill's error. Noah Gragson and Kevin Magnussen got into a furious argument. Tyler Rake lost it late after having a chance to win. And Corey Heim achieved his first ever NASCAR Cup Series victory in the early stages of his Cup career. But in silence, Bubba Wallace may have had the race's most spectacular drive. Even though he didn't win, it felt nearly surreal given what had occurred to him. On a road course, Bubba started 12th, advanced, and appeared to be legitimately competitive. For years, people didn't think Bubba Wallace would excel on road courses, so that alone is worth stopping on. Super speedways and several intermediate tracks have always given him an advantage. Road courses typically focused on track position, survival, and minimizing damage, but San Diego was an exception. There was speed in the number 23 Toyota. Bubba was self-assured. He didn't appear out of control, but he was hostile. Additionally, he appeared to be a serious candidate to win the race at one time, as he drove directly near the front. Then the error that altered everything occurred. Bubba was out on the course following a pit stop when his right front wheel broke off during the race. This indicates that when he left the pit road, the wheel was not securely fastened. That is one of the worst pit crew errors a team can make under NASCAR regulations. Because a loose or disconnected wheel is a safety concern in addition to a performance issue. During the race, Bubba had to serve a 2-lap penalty. That would have ended his chances in most Cup races. On a street course, you should be buried after 2 laps. After that, you shouldn't finish second. However, Bubba's car was powerful enough, and San Diego was sufficiently wild for him to fight his way back into the race. The emotion becomes difficult at that point. It was a big day, on the one hand. Bubba came in second. 2311 was won by Corey Heim. Racing's finished in a 1-2. Bubba provided himself more leeway in the chase fight by moving up in the rankings. However, Bubba was aware that a victory was imminent. He was open about his frustration after the event. "I was really frustrated," he continued. "This year, a lot of races had results with asterisk marks next to them, similar to the what-ifs. Bubba's entire season may be summed up in that sentence. Every successful run seems to have been accompanied by something. A collision, a fine, contact, poor timing, an error. Something that makes the team consider what may have happened if the race had just been clean. San Diego was one of those cities. We do a debrief after every race," Bubba added, "which I detest. For my staff, I detest it. We lost the following few weeks as a result of this small error. The crucial element is the final section. Bubba is aware of what is probably going to happen during the next few weeks. He is aware of the regulation. He is aware of the precedent. He is aware that pit crew members have already been suspended by NASCAR for having wheels come off this season. Therefore, the number 23 squad must wait for the penalty report even after finishing in second place. Take a moment to support NASCAR Central before we delve into the specifics of NASCAR's rulebook and the reasons suspensions are likely. The target for this video is 100 likes, and the channel is still relatively new, aiming for 6,000 subscribers. Please hit like, share, and subscribe if you like these NASCAR breakdowns. It truly aids in the channel's expansion. This is the major problem for 2311. According to NASCAR's rulebook, 2 pit crew members will be suspended for 2 races and given a 2-lap penalty if a tire is lost outside of pit road. That's the important part. During the race, Bubba had already completed the 2-lap penalty. However, 2 members of the number 23 pit crew may still be suspended as a result of the penalty report. Although nothing was formally confirmed right away following the race, it seems more like a matter of when than if given the regulation and previous precedent. NASCAR has handled similar circumstances in the past. After Ross Chastain's right rear wheel broke off at COTA earlier this season, 2 members of his top trackhouse staff were suspended. Following the Coca-Cola 600, Catherine Legger's right front wheel fell off during the last stage, resulting in the suspension of 2 members of the number 78 Live Fast Motorsports team. Therefore, 2311 Racing should anticipate that 2 crew members from Bubba's squad will miss the following 2 races if NASCAR adheres to the same norm. To be clear, Bubba Wallace's suspension as the driver is not at issue here. This relates to the pit crew in charge of the wheel and the number 23 squad. On the course, Bubba paid the race penalty. The crew members would then have to pay the penalty specified in the regulation. That is significant since the headline is serious and dramatic. However, parking Bubba is probably not the punishment. Since timing, rhythm, and chemistry are the foundation of pit crews, the suspension of 2 individuals is still quite significant. The number 23 squad can suffer at the wrong moment if they lose 2 players for SOMA and the next race. Furthermore, SOMA is more than just a weekend getaway. SOMA feels like a chance after what Bubba displayed in San Diego. Even though he was upset about not winning, he claimed after the race that he was making an effort to focus on the positive aspects. "Good rebound for our team," he remarked. "I just need to keep trying, and perhaps I'll get something." However, I suppose I was able to see the bright side of things. Next weekend, nevertheless, will be spent in Sonoma. That's the proper way of thinking. However, it is evident that he is struggling a little. He is aware that placing second was a nice outcome. He is aware that the speed was genuine. He is aware of the team's recovery from the catastrophe. However, when they think they have winning speed, racers dislike moral triumphs. "I hope I don't go from hero to zero, but I feel confident going into SOMA and having a good weekend," he added. It's a good day overall, though. For a year, everyone has been discussing it, and now here we are. It's done. Sonoma's remark is significant. For years, Bubba could have considered a road course weekend to be damage control. He is now discussing confidence. That is a huge change. Denny Hamlin saw exactly that. As a co-owner of 2311 Racing, Hamlin witnessed Bubba's day up close. He noticed the pace. He witnessed the tire come off. He witnessed the punishment. He witnessed the healing. And on his harmful podcast, he was very complimentary of Bubba and the number 23 team. Hamlin claimed to have driven directly to P2 from 12th or 13th, took the lead. He was honest. Indeed, that is impressive. When the tire came off, I was behind him. I immediately thought, oh my God, that's 2 laps, splitter for damage. Yes, that is quite remarkable. That kind of response indicates that the performance wasn't staged. Hamlin is promoting more than just his own driver. He saw it come to pass. Second place was not given to Bubba. It was something he had to earn twice. Hamlin also discussed the psychological aspects of taking a day like this and the roller coaster of Bubba's season. The ride with Bubba has some swells, and that roller coaster goes up and down, right? He asked. However, even though you could think, man, if things had gone right, I could have won, you're probably correct. However, you still need to be truly content with the day. That is precisely the right proportion if you are him and his team when it comes to conquering hardship with resilience. Bubba has moments of frustration. He ought to be irritated. When they place second in a race they believe they could have won, winners are expected to feel frustrated. However, the team must also acknowledge what this indicates about their progress. Usually, a 2-lap penalty puts a stop to your day. Even yet, Bubba came in second. That's not typical. Hamlin went on to provide what may have been the story's greatest compliment. 90% of NASCAR is about the race never really turning out the way you expect it to. And then to take a road course, which was by no means his strong suit for a while. To be the greatest Toyota, and possibly the best qualifying 2,311 vehicle. Return for 2 laps, go through the field, take the lead, get the tire and then return to the front. It's really, really spectacular, and sometimes the victories aren't really holding the trophy, so you have to accept your victories when they happen. I'm really proud of how far I've come on road courses, man. As if I were a serious competitor today. I am forward to visit Soma. Do you understand what I mean? For Bubba's future, that is likely the most significant aspect of the entire narrative. He didn't win when he left San Diego, but he did make progress. He now has evidence that he is capable of posing a serious danger on a road course. Instead of being afraid, he now approaches Soma with confidence. This confidence is important since there will be a test during the next 2 weeks. Adam Hartman and Nathan Ricketts will be absent from the number 23 squad. At this level, pit personnel are not plug-and-play. Every stop depends on time, chemistry, rhythm, and trust. It is not insignificant to lose Jackman, and a tire changer for Soma and Chicagoland. Bubba is also engaged in a playoff battle. He now has a 67-point lead on the Chase Cut line and is ranked 11th in the Cup standings, behind San Diego. It's a nice location, however it's unlocked. There are still races in existence. It's a tight bubble. Following his collision in San Diego, Shane Van Gisbergen went below the line. That pressure zone includes Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Preece, Austin Cindric, Eric Jones, and others. Therefore, Bubba cannot afford to start a new slide as a result of this punishment. The best-case scenario is that San Diego turns into a pivotal location. The suspension is absorbed by the team. Bubba brings that road course speed into Soma, and replacements complete the task. In the worst situation, the disturbance to the pit crew might lead to more errors and transform a successful race into a temporary issue. Because of this punishment is more significant than just 2 names on a report. It occurs at a time when Bubba Wallace seemed to have made significant progress on both road and street courses. Hamlin shared some advice he received as a rookie to wrap off his compliments. That's the only option because, my goodness, Mike Ford warned me during my rookie year, Denny, that if winning is the only thing that makes you happy, you're going to be an unhappy jerk. You have to identify small victories, he says. You must establish objectives. You must comprehend that. Yes. Sometimes you have to adjust your goals to be a little more realistic, even if you always go to the racecourse thinking, I'm going to win. The top drivers are competing with you. And I only see Bubba Wallace and that 23 team in this one. They should be proud of Bubba's perseverance and skill set on these kinds of racetracks. That's the last thing to remember. San Diego was not won by Bubba Wallace. Bubba might have taken home something nearly as significant as Corey Heim did. Evidence that he can compete on tracks where he was previously written off. The punishment is painful. It is painful to lose 2 crew members. Even if the loose wheel prevented him from winning, his performance should frighten other drivers. Because Soma looks completely different if Bubba Wallace can run like that on a street course. Stay tuned to NASCAR Central for more articles on NASCAR, updates on penalties, driver comments, and everything going on in the garage. Let me know in the comments. After that comeback, should Bubba be pleased with second place, or did the 23rd ranked squad miss out on a victory at San Diego?